Good morning to each and everyone present here for the webinar program, and I invite Professor D. Ratnamala for this webinar. A short intro about her. Professor D. Ratnamala she's having more than 15 years of experience in academics, and she has completed her MPT in orthopedics, and she has published more papers in indexed journals and clinical area of physiotherapy management. I invite you, ma'am, on behalf.
Thank you so
Invite
much.
you, ma'am, on behalf of Chettinad School of Physiotherapy, and I invite Dr. P. Sendil, Dean, Chettinad School of Physiotherapy, for this webinar program.
Welcome you all.
Thank you. First, I have to thank Dr. Sendil Purushothaman sir for giving me this opportunity in this prestigious institution. I'm very happy to present this seminar. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you.
And also, I welcome all the students from the Chettinad Academy as well as from the Wales University to participate for their enthusiastic participation.
I hope so. This session will be more of interactive, so that the students will benefit from this session, madam. Kindly
It's better
just click
to
out.
have an interactive session. Thank you, sir. Good morning, students. Okay. So first we'll start with the osteology and biology of the lower extremity. As already we have studied about all those things. Just we'll have an overview of this myology and osteology of the lower extremities. You know about the lower extremity, which comprises of the hip bone, the femur, okay, the tibia and the fibula, and the foot bones, all the foot bones. Okay, so this comprises the lower extremities. So you know how far the muscles and the bones plays an important role in our human body. Okay, generally the bones are a hard tissue. It's a hard tissue. Okay, which has many functions. So the main functions will be it stores the minerals and in production of the red blood cells, the white blood cells. Okay, and gives structure to our body, framework for the body, and also it plays a vital role in protecting the vital organs. Okay, apart from that, also we have many other functions. Okay. So here it gives a framework for our body. Okay, so that's an important function of your bone. And coming to the muscle, muscle is a soft tissue. You know that each and every muscle is we have different types of muscle. That is, we have the cardiac muscle, we have the skeletal muscle, and we have the smooth muscle. So we have different function according to the region where it is present. So now we are seeing here about the skeletal muscle. The skeletal muscle, which plays an important role. Okay, so here you know each and every, the muscle is a soft tissue and it is attached to the bone naturally. So each and every muscle has its own origin point and the insertion point, and it has its own blood supply and the nerve supply. And without the muscle, we cannot able to perform the movements, okay, in our daily activities. And here this muscle produces a force. It gives a force for doing or performing a motion, okay, or the movements, okay. And this that is which with the help of this movements we are able to move forward, so that helps in the locomotion of a body and do all the functional activities or any such things. Okay, so that's very important about your muscles. Now we'll see about how far these muscles are attached. What are the muscles are attached in the hip bones, the lower extremities, and what is the nerve supply and the blood supply of the muscles. Okay, so we have a video over here. Better to see the video. First, we'll discuss about this muscles of the hip and the thigh muscles. Okay, so here the hip muscle, which consists of the two major muscles. So we have the anterior muscles, as well as in the anterior part we have the muscles, as well as on the posterior aspect we have the muscles. And now we're having have a short video, okay, of the muscles which is attached to the hip and the thigh. Okay, so here the hip muscles, okay, which includes the main muscles in the hip region. We have the anterior compartment muscle as well as the posterior compartment muscles in the hip. So we have the anterior as well as the posterior. Anteriorly we have the iliacus and the psoas major and the minor. And posteriorly we have the superficial muscles as well as the deep muscles, the gluteal muscles. Okay. So first one is, and also the muscles of the thigh, which consist of the that is the anterior compartment, the posterior compartment, and the medial compartment. Okay. So first we'll see about the muscles of the hip muscles, the anterior hip muscles. So this anterior hip muscles, the main muscle is the iliacus and the psoas major. This is the psoas major muscle, okay, and this is the iliacus muscle. The psoas major muscle, it gets its origin from the T12 vertebra up to L4 vertebra, the body of the L4 vertebra. So it gets its origin from the vertebrae and gets inserted into the lesser trochanter. And next is the iliacus. This is a flat muscle, okay, which gets its origin from the iliac fossa, okay, of the hip bone, and gets along with the iliacus and the psoas major. It is inserted into the lesser trochanter. So here, this iliacus and the psoas major just pass beneath the inguinal ligament. We have the important structure in the inguinal ligament. So it just pass just behind the inguinal ligament attached to the lesser trochanter of your femur. Okay. And next is the psoas minor. This is very less seen. Okay. It is nearly 40 to 70%. This muscle is not clear and it is absent, rudimentary muscle. But if it is seen, it will be present along the psoas major, along the borders of your psoas major muscle, and is attached to the psoas major muscle. Okay. And this is anterior compartment muscle. So this anterior compartment muscle, so you know the attachments now, and now we know the functions of the that is the anterior compartment muscle. So it helps in the flexion of your hip joint. Okay, it moves a like that is moves a hip joint forward. That is the flexion of your hip joint. And this psoas major, you know, that is the vertebral body which consists of the vertebrae, the axial skeleton, transmits the force to the lower extremities through the pelvic bone or the pelvic girdle. Through the pelvic bone or the pelvic girdle. So that is the main importance of the pelvic girdle. Transmission of the weight from the upper body, that is the axial skeleton, towards the lower extremity. So from the lower extremity, it will be distributed to the both the limbs equally on both the limbs. There is the femur, the tibia, and the fibula. It does not bear the weight, so it is a non-weight bearing bone. So and reaches the foot on the medial aspect as well as the lateral aspect equally distributed. The weight will be equally distributed. Okay, and see now the. Can you see the video?
Yes, ma'am.
And the anterior hip muscles. Okay, the anterior hip muscle. The function will be the flexion of the hip. That is the hip joint flexion. Okay, and can see the flexion. So this is a hip joint. So it moves the that is forwards. Okay. So the main nerve supplied to the anterior hip muscles or the femoral nerve. Femoral nerve is chief nerve, okay, of the lumbar plexus. Okay. So and also the psoas minor is also supplied by the lumbar plexus. Okay. And the iliopsoas muscle, which has the blood supply. So this is a common iliac artery, iliolumbar artery. So the iliolumbar artery, which is a branch from the internal iliac artery. The internal iliac. So we know the common iliac artery, which divides into the internal iliac as well as the external iliac. The internal iliac artery is again divides into the iliolumbar artery, which supplies the iliacus muscle. Okay, the psoas major and the iliacus muscle. So and also it gets the blood supply from the medial circumflex femoral artery. This is the medial circumflex femoral artery, which is a branch from the femoral artery. Okay, that is the profunda femoris. That is the profunda femoris. The profunda femoris is the largest branch of your femoral artery. That is the chief artery supplying the anterior part of your thigh muscles, anterior part of your thigh and the hip muscles. Okay, and this is about your blood supply and the nerve supply of your anterior hip muscles. Okay. And next coming to the gluteal muscle. That is the gluteus, you know, that is the gluteus maximus is the largest muscle. Okay, so the back. Okay, and this gluteus consists of the gluteus maximus, medius, minimus, and the tensor fasciae lata. So we have the superficial muscle as well as the deep muscle. So first we'll see about the superficial muscle of your gluteal region. Okay, so this superficial muscle, the gluteus maximus, gets its origin from the pelvic board, the gluteal lines. Okay. And that is the posterior and the inferior surface of the sacrum, okay, and up to the coccyx, inserted into the gluteal tuberosity of your femur, and also to the iliotibial tract, Next comes up, just reflecting the gluteus maximus, you can see the gluteus medius. So the gluteus medius gets from the gluteal surface of the ischemia and inserted into the greater trochanter of your femur. And after reflecting this gluteus medius, you can see the gluteus minimus, okay, from the gluteal lines in between the anterior and the inferior gluteal lines, and inserted of the gluteal surface of your ilium, inserted into the greater trochanter of your femur. So these are the three gluteal muscles. Apart from that, we have the tensor fasciae lata. This is a short muscle. This is a short and thick muscle, okay, which is present in the iliac crust along the hip bone. It is attached to the iliac crust of your outer lip of iliac crust, we got the tensor fascial lata, and it extends up to the, you can see it extends up to the iliotibial tract from the anterior superior iliac spine, okay, the iliac crust, okay, iliac crust, as well as to the iliotibial tract. Insertion will be in the iliotibial tract. Okay, so that is the tensor fascial lata, which plays a very important role in walking, all the activities, running, etc. And the iliotibial, next about the iliotibial tract, you have seen this is the gluteus maximus muscle, right? And we have the tensor fascial lata, and this is the iliotibial tract. So this is a connective tissue. The iliotibial tract is a connective tissue which connects the gluteal maximus and the tensor fascial lata to the top of your leg. So when we have anything related to the gluteal iliotibial tract, so that will be imposed on your gluteus muscles too. Okay. So here next is the that is the function of your gluteal muscles on the back muscles. The main action will be the extension. The extension of your hip is done by the by the gluteus muscles, as well as the abduction and a little amount of the rotation. And the blood supply to this gluteus muscle, the gluteus maximus is supplied by the superficial gluteal muscles. The gluteal maximus is supplied by the inferior gluteal nerve. The gluteus medius and minimus will be supplied by the superior gluteal nerve. Okay. So you have superior as well as the inferior gluteal nerve, which supplies the gluteal muscle. The blood supply by the superior gluteal artery and the inferior gluteal artery. So this superior gluteal artery and the inferior gluteal artery is a branch from the internal iliac artery. I told you the common iliac artery divides into internal iliac as well as the external iliac. So this internal iliac artery, the largest branch of the internal iliac artery is the superior gluteal artery. So the blood supply to the gluteal muscle is supplied by the superior gluteal artery as well as the inferior gluteal artery, right? And next is the, so this is the blood supply to the gluteal muscle. So you know the superior and the inferior gluteal nerve as well as superior and inferior gluteal artery supplies the gluteal muscle, right? And coming to the, after reflecting all this superficial muscle, we can see the deep muscles. So the deep muscles are the piriformis, okay? So the short muscle, the piriformis, which gets long origin from the pelvic surface of your sacrum and inserted into the apex of your greater trochanter. That is the insertion point of your piriformis. Next is the obturator internus along the obturator membrane, along the rim of your obturator foramen, and inserted into the greater trochanter of your and also the trochanteric fossa of your trochanter, greater trochanter. Then we have the superior gemelli, okay, which from the ischial side. This is the ischial spine. So from the ischial spine, it gets its origin from the ischial spine and inserted into the greater trochanter. And next we have the inferior gemelli, also from the tuberosity. It also has its origin from the tuberosity of the ischium, inserted into the greater trochanter. So these are all the deep muscles in your gluteal region, right? And this deep muscle has its own function, okay? So which helps in the lateral rotation, which helps in the quadratus femoris, which has its origin from the ischial tuberosity inserted into the intertrochanteric crust of your greater trochanter, okay? And this helps in the lateral rotation of your hip joint. Okay, main function will be the lateral rotation of your hip joint. And the blood, that is the nerve supply will be by the sacral plexus. Okay, the deep gluteal muscles supplied by the sacral plexus. And here we have that is the blood supply by the superior and the inferior gluteal arch, right? And next we see the muscles of the thigh. So in the thigh we have the anterior compartment, we have the medial compartment, and we have the posterior compartment. So the anterior compartment muscle, the largest muscle, you know that the longest muscle in our body is the sartorius, right? So the sartorius gets its origin from the anterior superior iliac spine, from the iliac crust, you know. At the tip of the anterior superior iliac spine gets its origin, inserted into the medial surface of your femur. You know, say grace before T, okay? Sartorius, gracilis, and semitendinosus, right? So it gets its insertion into the medial surface of your tibia in front, right? So this sartorius is otherwise called as the Taylor's muscle. The Taylor's, when they hit it, this muscle helps slightly in abduction. So from the origin from the ASIS to the medial surface of your femur. the flexion of the knee, abduction and lateral rotation, and medial rotation of the, so abduction and lateral rotation of the hip joint and medial rotation in the knee joint. Just imagine as if your tailor is sitting, tailor sitting position. Okay, so you know that is the tailor will be sitting in the slight abduction with your flexion of your hip, flexion of your knee, okay, and with medial rotation, right? So that is the function of your sartorius muscle, otherwise called as a Taylor's muscle. So this is the action of your sartorius, right? And next, coming to the quadriceps femoris, that is anterior compartment muscle. Is the one of the anterior compartment muscle, that is the largest muscle. Okay, one of the largest muscle in your anterior compartment, which consists of 4 muscles. We have the rectus femoris, we have the vastus medialis, we have the vastus lateralis, medialis, as well as the rectus femoris. Okay, so commonly these muscles will be inserted into the quadriceps tendon. Quadriceps tendon. First, we'll see about this rectus femoris, right? So rectus femoris from the anterior inferior iliac spine, and it will be inserted into the base of your patella. Rectus femoris in the base of your patella. The base will be in the superior. Apex will be directed inferior. So the base of your patella, and we have, you can see the rectus femoris here. This one is rectus femoris. And next we have the vastus lateralis and vastus medialis and vastus intermedius. You know that is behind the rectus femoris. You know the patella. Patella, it is a triangular in shape structure, which is a sesamoid bone. This is called as a sesamoid bone, which does not have the periosteum. Since only the true bones has the periosteum, so this sesamoid bone does not have the periosteum and Haversian system. That's why it's called as a sesamoid bone, not a true bone. This is the largest, one of the largest bone in our sesamoid bone in our body. Okay, so this patella, we have the base as well as the apex. So in the base, we have the vastus medialis, we have the vastus lateralis, and we have the vastus intermedius. Before we, in front of the vastus intermedius, we have the rectus femoris. So we have the lateralis from the lateral aspect, and the medial intermedius from the shaft of the femur inserted into the lateral part of your patella, and vastus medialis muscle from the origin from the linea aspera in the femur, and it will be inserted into the medial aspect of your patella, right? And next is the articularis genu. This is a small muscle, the articularis genu, which is seen in the, that is lower end of your femur. The lower end of your femur, that is the distal part in the lower end of the femur. You can see the articularis muscle. So it gets its origin from here, and it will be inserted into the capsule. You know, each and every joint is covered by a capsule, right? Each and every joint is covered by a capsule, and the capsule is lined by a synovial membrane. Capsule is lined by the synovial membrane. So this articularis genu is inserted into the capsule of your joint, knee joint, and also also you can say it can be attached to the synovial membrane. So during the extension of your knee, it lifts the synovial membrane. Okay, during the extension of the knee, it lifts the synovial membrane. That's the action of your articularis genu. Okay, so it's this is about your anterior compartment muscle. Is the function of the anterior compartment, the main extensor of the leg. It helps to extend your leg in the knee joint. Okay, and also flexion of the thigh in the hip joint, right? And the innervation mainly by the femoral nerve. Innervation mainly by the femoral nerve. The blood supply by the profunda femoris artery. This is the internal ligament. Is it audible for everyone? Is it audible for everyone?
Yes, madam. You can go ahead, madam.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you. So this is the artery. This is the femoral artery. Okay. So this one is the common iliac artery. Common iliac artery. That is the external iliac artery. Okay. Above here we have the common iliac artery. Divides into external iliac artery. So this is the inguinal ligament. It's attached from the ASIS to the pubic crest or the pubic tubercle. So behind this we have the artery passes, right? And here from the inguinal ligament, this artery is called as a femoral artery. This artery is called as a femoral artery. Above this, it is called as an external iliac artery. External iliac artery. This is one of the branch of the common iliac artery. Already we have discussed the common iliac artery divides into internal iliac as well as the external iliac artery. So this is an external iliac artery which continues down as the femoral artery. This is the chief artery of your anterior compartment of your thigh. Okay, so this supplies all the muscles in the anterior compartment of your thigh. So one of the main branch, immediately when it passes just 4 to 5 centimeters from its origin point, it gives off a branch that we call it as a profunda femoris artery. This is the profunda femoris artery. That is the largest artery of your femoral artery. So most of the blood supply to this anterior compartment muscle is supplied by the profunda femoris, right? So the sartorius, this is the longest muscle in our body, and which gets its origin from the anterior superior iliac spine and gets attached to the that is the medial surface in front of the femur, right? And the main action of this sartorius muscle will be the flexion of the thigh, abduction, as well as the lateral rotation, right? And it's otherwise called as the Taylor's muscle. And you can see the action of your sartorius here, and the medial rotation of the knee along with the lateral rotation of the hip. Next is the quadriceps femoris, which consists of 4 muscles: the vastus medialis, lateralis, intermedius, and the rectus femoris. So the rectus femoris, which gets its origin, you see the rectus femoris now. So common insertion will be in the quadriceps tendon. All this quadriceps muscle will be inserted into the quadriceps tendon. So just to explain about this medial compartment as well as the posterior compartment muscles. Okay. Before going to this, that is, we know about the anterior compartment muscle, which consists of the quadriceps muscle, the sartorius. And posteriorly, we have the hamstring muscle, which is the chief flexors of your hip joint. Okay, and here we have this knee joint, and in the medial compartment muscle, which consists of the gracilis, the pectineus, the adductor magnus, the brevis. Okay, and the adductor magnus is the largest muscle in your adductor group, which helps in the adduction as well as the medial rotation of your hip joint. So this is about the muscles of your thigh. Next, we'll go to the leg, the muscles of the leg. The leg portion, you know, that is, it is between the knee and the ankle. It is comprised of this tibia, the femur, tibia, and the fibula. And here we have in the leg, we have the anterior compartment, the lateral compartment, the posterior compartment. Here in the posterior compartment also, we have the superficial as well as the deep part of your posterior compartment. First, you'll see about the anterior compartment of your leg muscles. So this anterior compartment muscle, okay, mainly the dorsiflexors of the ankle and the extension of the toes. So this contains the anterior tibial nerve and the tibial artery. The main blood supply to the anterior compartment muscles, so the anterior tibial nerve as well as the anterior tibial artery. The anterior tibial artery will be the branch from the one of the branch of the popliteal artery. You know, that is the anterior compartment muscles of your thigh, which is supplied by the femoral artery. So the femoral artery enters into the leg in the popliteal fossa as a popliteal artery, and it is divides into 2 at the neck of the fibula. It divides into 2 as the anterior and the posterior tibial artery. So here the anterior tibial artery, which supplies the anterior compartment muscles of your leg, right? And this anterior compartment muscles are the tibialis anterior, the extensor hallucis longus, the extensor digitorum longus, and the peroneus tertius. So these 4 muscles comprises the anterior compartment of your leg. So the anterior compartment of the tibialis anterior gets its origin from the lateral condyle of your tibia and also from the interosseous membrane, inserted into the medial, that is the medial cuneiform. You have 7 tarsals in your foot. Okay, the 7 tarsals bone in your foot. We have the talus, the calcaneum, the navicular, the 3 cuneiforms, and the cuboid bone. So this forms the tarsal bones, and the medial cuneiform be inserted into the base of your medial cuneiform, and the nerve supply will be the peroneal nerve, that is the deep peroneal nerve. The anterior compartment muscles are always supplied by the deep peroneal nerve, whereas the posterior compartment, it is by the superficial peroneal nerve. Okay, so main action of this is the dorsiflexion and also foot in the inversion. Next is the extensor digitorum longus. The extensor digitorum longus from the lateral condyle of the tibia and inserted. Digitorum, you know, it divides into 4 tendons. So it is supplying, except the hallucis, except the great toe, it supplies all the 4 toes. So longus, generally you know that it has a long insertion. So it will be inserted into the, that is the distal phalanx of your all the toes, distal phalanx of your all the toes. And the nerve supply is by the peroneal nerve and helps in the extension of all the toes. That is the action of your extensor digitorum longus. Next comes the extensor hallucis longus. The extensor hallucis longus from the middle of your fibula, it gets its origin, inserted into the distal phalanx of the great toe. Hallucis means it's going to the great toe. So it's inserted into the distal phalanx of your great toe. And the nerve supplied by the deep peroneal nerve helps in the extension of your great toe. That is the main action of your extensor hallucis longus. Next comes the peroneus tertius. This is the peroneus tertius. It gets its origin from the fibula, the distal part of your fibula. Okay, inserted will be in the dorsum aspect of the fifth metatarsal. So this one is the peroneus tertius muscle. In the fifth metatarsal, it will be inserted. So one of the important feature of your metatarsals, fifth metatarsal, is it has a tuberosity on the lateral aspect. Okay, so it is inserted into the dorsum aspect of a shaft of your fifth metatarsal. Then actually the nerve supplied by the deep peroneal nerve, and the foot, it helps the foot to evert as well as the dorsiflexion. So eversion as well as this dorsiflexion by the peroneus tertius. Next coming, so this is the anterior compartment muscle. Next coming to the lateral compartment. The lateral compartment muscles are the chief everters of foot, chief everters of the foot, and supplied by the superficial peroneal nerve. Superficial peroneal nerve. So the main muscles are the peroneus longus as well as the peroneus brevis. Peroneus longus and the peroneus brevis. Peroneus longus, which gets its origin from the lateral surface of your fibula and inserted into the medial cuneiform. We have three cuneiforms, right? So it is inserted into the inferior lateral surface of your medial cuneiform, and the blade, that is the nerve supplied by the superficial peroneal nerve, and helps in the eversion of your foot. Eversion of your foot also helps in the ankle plantar flexion. As the reaction will be ankle plantar flexion. Next is the peroneus brevis. Peroneus brevis gets its origin from the lateral aspect of your fibula, from the lower third of your fibula, inserted into the tuberosity of your base of the fifth metatarsal. I told you now, the important feature in the fifth metatarsal is that you have a tuberosity. Others metatarsal it does not have. So this peroneus brevis is inserted into the tuberosity of your fifth metatarsal, and the nerve supply will be by the superficial peroneal nerve, and the action is eversion as well as the ankle plantar flexion. And coming to that is the lateral compartment muscle. We have the peroneus muscles on the lateral compartment. Next, coming to the posterior compartment of your leg. So this is the posterior compartment of your leg. So the posteriorly we have not only the muscles, we have the vein, short saphenous vein, important vein, and medial pudendus nerve, the sural nerve. Okay, and we have the tibial nerve, which supplies mainly the posterior compartment. The main muscles in the posterior compartment. We have the superficial as well as the deep muscles in the posterior compartment. So the superficial muscles or the gastrocnemius. We have two heads of the gastrocnemius, medial head as well as the lateral head, which gets its origin from the medial condyles as well as the lateral condyles. And also we have the plantaris. We have the plantaris muscle. As well as the soleus. So first we'll see about the gastrocnemius. The gastrocnemius, it gets its origin from the medial as well as the lateral condyle of your femur. Insertion as a tendon, it gets inserted into the posterior aspect of your calcaneum. So here the tendon, this we call it as Achilles tendon. This we call it as the Achilles tendon inserted into the calcaneum posterior aspect. The main action of this gastrocnemius is plantar flexion of your foot. Plantar flexion of your foot. And the blood supply is by the popliteal artery. So here we have the popliteal artery, which divides into anterior and the posterior artery. The main supply by the popliteal artery. Okay. And next is the another muscle is the plantaris muscle. Another muscle is the plantaris. This is the superficial muscle of your posterior compartment. Gets its origin from the lateral supracondylar ridge of your femur. So it becomes a tendon. It will be inserted into the calcaneum on the posterior aspect. The nerve supply will be by the tibial nerve, okay, and it also helps in the plantar flexion, right? And next is the soleus. This soleus gets its origin from the shafts of the tibia on either side of the tibia as well as the fibula. So soleus. Just behind this gastrocnemius, you can see the soleus muscle, okay. and it helps in the, that is insertion will be along with the gastrocnemius, it becomes a tendon and it will be inserted into the posterior aspect of your calcaneum, right? And this is the nerve supply by the tibial nerve, helps in the plantar flexion. That is the main action is by the plantar flexion of your foot. The blood supply by the posterior tibial artery. Okay, so it has two blood supply. That is in the above, the upper part, I told you we have the popliteal artery. So the popliteal artery, then here it divides into anterior and posterior tibial artery. The anterior tibial artery goes front and the posterior tibial artery down, come back. Okay, so it has two supply. Above we have the proximal part, it is supplied by the popliteal artery. The below part, it is supplied by the that is posterior tibial artery. So that's about your soleus muscle. Okay, that is the posterior tibial. We can see the posterior tibial artery and tibial nerve. Next, the deep compartment muscles of the that is leg is the popliteus. The main muscle is the popliteus muscle. This is the popliteus muscle. Flexor digitorum longus, flallacis longus, and the tibialis posterior. The popliteus, you know, that is the unlocking muscle. Okay, the popliteus. Yes. Here we have the popliteal groove. Okay, in the femur we have the popliteal groove. Okay, so from the popliteal groove, also the lateral condyle of the femur, and also from the lateral meniscus, it gets its origin. Insertion on the popliteal surface on the posterior aspect of your tibia, upper part, okay, gets inserted, and it's supplied by the tibial nerve, helps in the flexion and medial rotation of your leg, or that is the D joint, right? Flexor digitorum longus. Digitorum means it divides into 4 tendons. So here also the extensor divides into 4 tendons. Likewise, the flexor also divides into 4 tendons. So here it gets its origin from the shaft of the tibia, divides into 4 tendons, and it will be inserted into from the second to fifth toes. It is inserted, okay, in the distal phalanx of all the toes. Okay, distal phalanx of all the toes from 2 to 5, helps in the plantar flexion, inversion, as well as the flexion of your toes. The nerve supply is by the tibial. Next is the flexor hallucis long. Hallucis, generally it goes to the great toe. So it gets its origin from the shaft of the fibula, inserted at the base of the distal phalanx of your great toe. Okay, the nerve supply will be by the tibial nerve, and action will be the plantar flexion, inversion, and flexion of your toes. Next is the tibialis posterior. That is another important muscle in the posterior compartment of your leg, tibialis posterior. So the tibialis posterior origin from the shaft of your tibia and also from the interosseous membrane. So insertion will be, the major insertion will be here. You can see the tibialis posterior just goes behind the medial malleolus. Then main insertion will be in the navicular bone. This is the talus, this is the calcaneum, this is the navicular. So it will be inserted into the navicular bone, and also it gives few slips to the second, third, and the fourth cuneiform. Okay, and also the metatarsals. So it is attached. Main attachment will be in the navicular bone, and also it gives slips to all the metatarsals and the cuneiforms. The nerve supply will be the tibial nerve, which plays a very important role in your maintaining the arches of your foot. It acts as a sling on the medial longitudinal arch, right? And this tibialis posterior is supplied by the tibial nerve and helps in the plantar flexion and the inversion of your foot, right? And this role, that is the deep posterior compartment muscle, right? So maybe you will be clear with this, all this muscle, very important muscle. Now we'll see the clinical anatomy or the clinical applied anatomy of this, all the bones, okay, right from the femur, we'll see. So commonly we have the fracture that is happening in the femur, very commonly, that is very common in the elderly people, okay. So when we have a trivial fall, okay, so the bones of the bones goes for a fracture. This is commonly seen in the elderly because of the osteoporosis. The fractured neck of femur is common, very common. And next is the bone goes for a fracture is a patella. So when we have any direct blow, when we fall on the ground, okay, we're placing the patella on the ground. So directly the patella will be got hit, and you have a fracture. So this fracture, you have a stellate fracture or a multiple fracture, where it splits into 2 or more pieces. That is the fracture of the patella. And next, another important clinical correlation of the tibial bone is the osteomyelitis. Okay, this is an infectious disease of the bone, the infection of the bone, which is commonly seen in the upper end of your tibia. Okay, And we have many that is treatment modality, treatment process for this osteomyelitis, right? And that is the important correlation of your tibial bone. And next is the fibula. The fibula, I told you, it is a non-weight bearing bone. Okay, it's not a weight bearing bone. So we can take bone grafts from this bone, okay, fibula bone, okay, for if you have any non-union or any such thing, when we have any deformities, detection of the deformities, whatever it may be. So you take the fibula bone as a bone graft. And next is the fracture in the calcaneum. You can see commonly when you fall down, okay, from the height. So your calcaneum will be placed on the ground directly. It goes for a fracture. Okay. And next is the that's all about your clinical anatomy. A brief explanation about your clinical anatomy. Next we will enter into the foot bones. The foot, that is the bones as well as the muscles. The foot, you know, it is comprised of the tarsal bones, the metatarsals. We have the tarsals, we have the metatarsals, and we have the phalanx. So the tarsals, we have 7 tarsals. This is the calcaneum. Over that we have the talus. We have the navicular bone. We have 3 cuneiforms. We have the cuboid bone on the lateral aspect, and we have the metatarsals. Okay, and the phalanges. So this is the foot bones. I will see the muscle attachment in the foot bones. So we have the sole. So the sole, which plays an important role in maintaining the arches of your foot, right? And nearly 18 intrinsic muscles are there in the sole, 18 small muscles. So this is arranged in layers. These muscles are arranged in layers, and they are arranged. Here we have 4 layers in the foot. That is the first layer, second layer, third layer, and fourth layer. So when you reflect the skin, you can see the first layer, just it is superficial to that of your plantar aponeurosis. So the muscles of the first layer, which is comprised of the flexor digitorum brevis, abductor hallucis, abductor digiti minimi. And the second layer, which composed of flexor digitorum longus, flexor hallucis longus, flexor digitorum accessorius, and lumbrical muscle. Next, the third layer consists of flexor hallucis brevis, flexor digiti minimi brevis, adductor hallucis. Then the muscles of the fourth layer consist of the interosseous muscles, small muscles, that is the small muscles, okay, interosseous, dorsal interosseous as well as the plantar interosseous, the tibialis posterior tendon as well as the peroneus longus muscle. So 18 muscles which forms the layers of the sole. So first we'll see the first layer of the sole. So we have the flexor digitorum brevis, which gets its origin from the medial tubercle of the calcanea, and it will be inserted into the, that is digitorum means it is dividing into 4, okay, 4 tendons. So it is inserted into the 4 toes, okay, in the proximal phalanx. Always the brevis will be inserted into the proximal phalanx, and the longus will be inserted into the distal phalanx of the corresponding toes. So here it is inserted into the proximal phalanx of all the second to the 5th toes, okay. And next is the abductor hallucis. Abductor hallucis gets its origin from the medial tubercle of the calcanea. As a tendon, it goes and it is inserted into the medial side of the base of the proximal phalanx of the great. So proximal phalanx of the medial aspect, we have the abductor hallucis. And abductor digiti minimi, the abductor digiti minimi gets its origin from the tubercle, lateral tubercle of the minimi means on the lateral aspect. So it gets its origin from the lateral tubercle of the calcaneum, and it inserted into the base of the proximal phalanx of your little toe. So hallucis in the great toe, little, that is a proximal phalanx of the little toe, we have the minimi. So this is the first layer of your sole muscle. So the nerve supply will be by the medial plantar nerve, and the abductor flexor digitorum brevis naturally it flexes the toes. Abductor helps in the abduction of the great toe, and digiti minimi helps in the abduction of the little toe. And next is this is the insertion organ and insertion of your layers of sole. The flexor digitorum brevis, abductor digiti minimi on the lateral aspect it is get inserted. The medial aspect we have the abductor hallucis. It is inserted. Okay, so we can see it is divided into 4 tendons, inserted into the proximal phalanx. Right. Next is the second layer of sole. The second layer of sole consists of the flexor digitorum longus, flexor digitorum accessorius, and the lumbricals and flexor hallucis longus. So here it gets its origin from the medial and the part of the tibia. Okay, that is from the, and also just below the soleal line it gets its origin, digitorum longus, and divides into 4 tendons and inserted into the distal phalanx of all second to 5 tendons, 5 bones, second to 5 digits. And next is the flexor digitorum axillarius. Flexor digitorum axillarius is a small muscle. Okay, it has 2 heads, medial head as well as the lateral head. It gets its, that is from the medial side of your calcaneum, it gets its origin. Lateral head from the lateral side of your lateral tubercle of your calcaneum. Inserted will be inserted into the flexor tendon, digitorum longus tendon itself. Okay, it's not getting attached to the bone; it is attached to the tendon itself. Okay, the lumbricals. So here we have 4 lumbricals. You have seen in the upper limb we have the lumbricals, right? Like that, here also we have the lumbricals. So the lumbricals, which gets its origin from the digitorum longus tendon, flexor digitorum longus tendon, it gets its origin. Okay, and it will be inserted in all these lumbricals. 4 lumbricals will be inserted into the corresponding metatarsophalangeal joints. Okay, on the medial side. Okay, so this is the lumbrical muscle. Can you see the lumbricals? So here you can see it is inserted into the MTP joint, proximal, the base of the metatarsophalangeal joint. It gets this insertion. Origin from the digitorum longus tendon, right? And next is the flexor hallucis longus. Flexor hallucis longus, posterior surface of your fibula. From the that is from the posterior surface, we have the flexor hallucis longus inserted into the base of the distal phalanx of your day 2. That is the insertion of your flexor hallucis longus. So nerve supply will be by the tibial nerve for the digitorum longus and by the lateral plantar nerve from the digitorum axillarius. Okay, as well as the medial plantar nerve. The second to fifth, it is second to third, it is by the medial plantar nerve. 4th and 5th by the lateral plantar nerve, right? And the action will be the flexion of the MTP joint. Adductors helps in the adduction of the toes, and minimi brevis gives, that is helps in the flexion of the proximal phalanx in the MTP joint. So this is the action of your second layer of sole muscle. Can you see the second layer? Next is the third layer of the sole. Third layer of the sole. Next is the 4th layer of sole, which consists of the plantar interossei as well as the dorsal interossei. Okay, 2 interosseous, that is the plantar as well as the dorsal interossei, as well as the tibialis posterior tendon as well as the peroneus longus tendon. Okay, so this plantar interossei generally it gets its origin from the metatarsals. Okay, corresponding 3rd and the 4th metatarsals on the sides of the metatarsals, inserted into the base of the proximal phalanx. Okay, proximal phalanx of all the 3rd, 4th and the 5th toes. The dorsal interossei from the adjacent sides of the metatarsal bone in the dorsal aspect gets inserted into the base of the proximal phalanx of the from the 2nd, 3rd and the 4th toes. So tibialis posterior, you know, it gets its origin on the posterior aspect of your surfaces of your leg. Okay, that is the tibia as well as from the fibula, and inserted into the tibialis tuberosity of the navicular bone and also to the cuneiforms as well as to the metatarsals. And peroneus longus from the lateral surface, okay, from the fibula, and inserted into the base of the first metatarsal, that is the peroneus longus. The action of this, the nerve supply will be by the lateral plantar nerves, and also tibialis posterior, we have the tibial nerve, and peroneus longus by the superficial peroneal nerve. And action will be the interossei helps in the plantar interossei adduction, dorsal interossei abduction. You know about the pad and dab. Okay. So that is adduction and abduction. Tibialis posterior helps in the plantar flexion of your ankle. Peroneus longus helps in the eversion of your foot. So these are the layers of the sole muscle. Are you clear with these layers of the sole muscle? So this muscle, the intrinsic muscles, it's very important in maintaining the arches of your foot. You know about the lateral arch as well as the medial longitudinal arch as well as the transverse arches. So this intrinsic muscles plays a vital role in the maintaining the arches of your foot. Okay, so you'll be reading about the arches of foot. Okay, in your lower extremity. Just go and see the what are the functions of your intrinsic muscles. Very important function because the tibialis posterior, the peroneus longus, peroneus brevis, tertius, all this acts as the slings. You know about the slings, the summit. Okay, so acts as a sling so that it holds the maintains the medial longitudinal arch as well as the lateral longitudinal arches. Okay, so that's all about your osteology and myology of your lower extremities. Yes, sir.
Yes, madam. So
That's all about the osteology and myology, sir. If we have any queries, you can ask me. Any queries from the student side?
Actually, thanks
Please.
a lot, madam. You have given a very
Thank you,
quick review about the lower extremity osteology and myology.
It's a very short time, sir. We
Yes,
have to
definitely,
at least we have to
definitely.
revise.
That also
Very
you have
helpful.
covered. In that
Yeah.
also you have covered. And please, any students, if you have any queries related to so far osteology and myology of lower extremity, even you can test your queries in the chat box also, so that we can give the solutions. Shall we go? Meanwhile, shall we go with the quiz, madam?
Yeah, yes, sir.
So we can slowly start with the quiz competition. Meanwhile, the students can also chat in the whatever the queries in the chat box, madam.
Yeah, yes, sir.
Yes.
Can you see the display, sir? Can you see the display, sir?
Yes, madam.
Yeah. Students,
Yeah,
can you see the question?
Yes.
Can you see the question?
Yes, madam. Yes.
Yes. Yeah, the first question will be a rough and protrusions on the anterior surface. Very easy question only, not very tough questions. Surface just below the condyles is the site of attachment of the patellar ligament. Just name the structure. What is the name of the structure? The anterior part of your tibia.
Student, this is your. We need an active
This is your. Just you can anyone can answer. Anyone can answer.
Yes.
Can you see the question in the screen?
We will repeat the question. Your roughened protrusions on the anterior surface of the just below the condyles. And
Tibial tuberosity.
Tibial tuberosity.
Very good. Very good. It's tibial tuberosity. Very good.
ligament.
Yeah, that's tibial tuberosity. They said the answer.
Okay, fine. Very good.
Very good. And a heavy long bone that forms the leg above the knee. The strongest bone in our bone. Name the bone.
Femur.
Yes, very simple question. Thank you. A sharp ridge running along the anterior surface of your tibia. Sharp ridge. It's an important landmark too in the tibia. It does not have the muscle attachment.
This is the region, no, madam?
But yeah, it's this is the region, sir.
Yeah, anterior ridge.
Yeah, what is the name? What is the name of the sharp ridge in the tibia? Anyone? Anyone?
Crest. Anterior crest.
Yes, anterior crest or the shin of the tibia, right? Very good. Long thin bone portion laterally along the side of the tibia in the lower leg. You know well. Fibula. Yes, good. Next is the medial side to the distal end of the femur, okay, which articulates with the tibia. So what is the name of this structure?
Medial condyle.
Yes, very good. And can you see the structure? Can you name the structure located on the posterior medial junction of...
Trochanter.
Okay, can you tell me which muscle is getting inserted into the lesser trochanter? We have seen
Iliacus and psoas major.
So what will be the function of the... Yes, very good. What is the function of the iliacus and psoas major muscle? We have seen now. Anyone? What is the main function of the iliacus and psoas major? Anyone? We have discussed. That is the first muscle we have seen in the video. Yes? Tell me. Somebody is answering. What is the action of the iliacus and psoas major? Anyone?
Flexion of hip joint.
Flexion of the hip joint. Very good. And next is the at the lower end of the tibia, okay, seen on the inner ankle. So what is the structure called? Inner and side of
Medial
malleolus.
Yes, very nice, very nice, very good. And next is you can see a notch over here. In the lower end of the femur, you can see a notch, okay, the femur. Where the patella is attached, okay. So that is called as a patellar groove. Is it true or false?
False.
False.
Patellar.
Articulation of patella. True only.
Yeah,
ma'am.
patella is the patellar groove only. It is articulated.
True
in the
only,
patellar
ma'am.
bone.
True.
It is true. It is true, right? It is true. It's not false. It is true, right? And next, this is the heel bone. You can see the foot. You can see all the bones: tarsals, metatarsal, phalanges. So we have this. What is the name of this bone?
Calcaneum.
Calcaneum.
Calcaneum. Yes, very good. That's all, sir. Very nice. I had a very interactive session. Thanks for the students, those who have participated in this session. And all, I also wish you all the very best for your forthcoming examination. This will be an useful session for you to recall all your past studies. Okay, past what all you have read. So thank you so much, sir.
Thank you so much, madam. Haripriya, you need to add something. I thank our MPT student Pritika Rana too. She also joined. And
Yes, sir.
anything to add, Pritika Rana?
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you for the session. It was really helpful session, and thank you for the overview in a very short period.
Ma'am, I thank you, ma'am, and because of spending your valuable time for us in this quarantine period. I thank you so much, ma'am, and we had lots of take-home messages in that. Thank you so much, ma'am. I thank you on behalf of Chettinad School of Physiotherapy.
It's my pleasure, ma'am. Thank you so much.
And I thank all the participants, those who have participated in this session, and for maintaining the discipline and decorum for the whole session. Thank you so much.